This is Anthony from Alabama. You listen to Rebuke Radio.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sakeya Donaldson from Fly Girl Approved. Once you get a second, check my book out, Fly Girl Approved, available on Amazon. And also check out the newest issue of Street Elements magazine. You can grab it from Amazon as well. You are listening to Rebuke Podcast.
Hello, everyone. You're now listening to Rebuke Podcast. This was the 59th episode, and we've got a very interesting show for you today. So I hope you stay tuned and share this show with all your friends and loved ones. I'd like to continue to thank everyone for supporting my show and showing love by on social media or listening on YouTube or watching it on YouTube. So I ask you to continue doing that, and we'll go ahead and get the show started. Now, this show, I've been wanting to do this about a couple of years now. Actually, an inmate reached out to me to do this show. I forgot the guy's name, but he reached out to me because he just wanted to talk about the conditions and what was going on. This is prior to COVID, but I never got a chance to reach out to him and talk to him. But I was online and I saw someone that on Instagram that showed that they were an ex felon, and I did some research on prison treatment, and it was very interesting that the way that Norway, the country which is in Europe, treat their inmates versus the United States treats their inmates. It's like human versus an animal. So, and I was intrigued on why Norway treats their inmates this way versus the United States treat their inmates this way. I'm talking about the conditions, the living conditions, the interactions, the verbal communication. Everything is different. So I wanted to do a show to see. Get the inside scoop on this, and I had a guy. He's not my classmate, but we went to the same school together, and he just got out. So I reached out to this young man, and I'm glad that he got joined the show. And I saw this beautiful woman online, and I reached out to her to get her on the show to get their perspectives on how it's like being in prison and what we can do better improve in the United States. So this show is it's called I Am Still Human, better treatment in the U.S. prison system. So I'd like to thank everyone for listening, and I'd like to thank Anthony Hall for coming on the show and Sakeya Donaldson for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So Anthony, I think I don't want to get too personal on why you in there, or what put you in there, but when you was in prison, what was it like being there? You just got out, so tell the world what was it like being in prison. Then to you, Ms. Donaldson. Then the second question, we'll flip it.
Well, actually, this is actually like my third time going to prison. Like, I've been to state prison twice, but I just recently got out of federal prison, so I did 8 years in federal prison, and I don't know, like nobody wants to go to prison, but you have a different type of, you expect kind of like different things when you go to federal prison. But it was just like, it was really kind of crazy. It was really kind of, I've been places that was real chaotic, like the police kind of handle you messed up. You got some that's going to treat you with respect, you know what I'm saying? Because they understand your situation, but you got some that's going to treat you like like you just, you know what I'm saying? You an inmate, you locked up, like you don't got no, like you don't really deserve no respect. You know what I'm saying?
Did you feel like a slave when you was there? Because you know
Yeah,
that you know that the U.S. prison system was based on the 13th Amendment. So
right. I read a book about that when I was locked up, called American Prison. Basically, you know what I'm saying? That's really what they did when they got rid of slavery. It went from what they used to call it, like they would rent the prisoners out for labor, for real. You know what I'm saying? So they really is, and that's basically what it is. Like I said, I was in the federal system, so they had this thing called Unicorn, where basically like they make stuff for the military. They do this, do that, and you get paid. You know what I'm saying? You get paid pennies. You get paid pennies on the dollar, for real. So it's like, the food, yeah, they gonna feed you like what the leftovers, like what they don't want, for real. You see what I'm saying? Um, then like I said, I was locked up during the pandemic, so like that with the whole COVID thing, like yeah, it was real bad with the COVID thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like really no way.
We gonna get into that. I want you to save that story for later on. We gonna get into that one.
All right.
So
yeah.
So it's rough. So basically, there's something you encourage your friends and loved ones not to embark on.
No, of course not. Nah, definitely don't need to go to prison. Nah. I mean,
Okay.
It's with anything, like it's not the place to be. I mean, I've had straight days in there, but I had bad days in there too, though. But nah, I definitely don't recommend nobody to go to prison.
Miss Donaldson, I don't know how long you was in prison. But when you was in prison, what was like being locked down?
So again, thank you for having me. So I was sentenced to 6 months in federal prison, and I served 20 months, actually included. And I was at a camp. So for a lot of people that don't really understand, camp is about as close to freedom as you gonna get without being free, meaning that it's very lax. Like it's a system it's tiers to the prison systems. You have camps, then you have lows, then you have mediums, you have maxes, you have USPs, which are the penitentiary, you have FCIs, so you have different levels just kind of dependent upon, the type of crime, the type of time that you have, all these variables play a part in it. So with me, like I said, I went to a camp. So for the most part, like I said, I was in West Virginia at Alderson Federal Prison Camp. So aesthetically, meaning like the actual property that the prison sat on, it was really beautiful. Like it was very picturesque. Yeah, no, it was very picturesque. Like when I pulled up to the prison to turn myself in, I was in shock about how beautiful it was. You got to think we're in West Virginia. There's mountains everywhere, so the landscaping is just beautiful. It's a massive compound, right? So our living quarters were dorm style. There were no cells, no locked doors, no anything. You moved around very freely, even to the point that when I got to the compound to turn myself in, I actually just walked on the compound. Like there's no gate, there's no fence, no perimeter. That is, so I don't want to say it's a nice place to be, but if you had to serve time, I guess that would be a nice place to spend it.
Okay, cool. That's very interesting. I never heard somebody say prison was, or camp or anything to that nature was beautiful. So it's a first for everything. So it's first for everything. All right, Miss Donaldson, very interesting. So the next question, Miss Donaldson, is how did the staff make you feel while you was at camp? I just learned that you was in camp while you was there. And then Anthony, you up next.
Staff wise, I mean, it was a mixture. You had staff there that, dealt you in a humane way, and then you had staff that just thought, the worst of you. So it was really a mixture. I never really had anyone be like super disrespectful or derogatory or anything like that. It was more so like, I don't want to say demeaning, but just kind of like, you're a prisoner. You really have no rights. You're here to do what we tell you to do. Don't question me. Don't, challenge my authority, things of that nature. So, I just always strive to maintain a respectable interaction with any guard that I came into contact, because I just understood the dynamics of where I was, and I understood that the system wasn't in place to necessarily protect me. So I always had that in my mind when I interacted with the guards.
Gotcha. Anthony, I think you alluded to it earlier, but how did the staff treat you once you was in?
It's kind of like what she said. I wasn't in no camp. You know what I'm saying? I did all my time in the medium and the USP. So like,
that's a different type of time, my boy.
Listen, man, like, for real, like that being a USP, like that's what really helped me be like, you know what, but you don't want to come back to prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember telling my folks, like, I've been in prison before, but that's real prison. Like, it's real prison. So, like, when I was there, the staff, like I say, like when I was in the USP, surprisingly, like the staff, most of them, they treat you with a lot of respect. Like, they give you your respect because they know what's going to happen if they don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna have a target on your back just like we do. Like, you gonna get the same thing we giving each other here if you get out of line. You know what I'm saying? So they tend to have a more caliber of respect. Like, they'll stay out your, you know what I'm saying? As long as you out their way, they're gonna be out your way. Like, I didn't really per se have no really ill treatment I've run into. It's always gonna be somebody. It's gonna always be some officers that's just what they own. Like, they feel like you an inmate and you don't got no rights. But for the most part, like, I was cool because I know how to move, you know what I'm saying? Like, I stay out their way, stay out mine. Like, they see I ain't on nothing. So, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much gonna give them their respect. But yeah, they got someone that's gonna handle you really kind of bad though.
Okay. Anthony, this is the next question for you. I'll talk about the Norway system. It's called the Halden model. Basically, their prison is basically a luxury apartment for a college student. They have their own showers. Nobody's in with them and everything, and the interaction is totally different. It's very humane, very humane. The question for you is: do you think the Norway's prison system will work in the U.S. currently in the U.S.? Why or why not?
Yeah, I kind of saw that. Like, I saw the whole little setup. Like, yeah, it really does look like a little college dorm room. Like, I think.
Will it work? Will it work with you? Will it work with you and the people that was there?
Like, and I say yes and no, because sometimes you get too complacent, too comfortable with prison. You see what I'm saying? To where you don't really think about. You really not messed up about going out there and correcting your behavior for real. But you like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? I go sit down there for 30 months, you know what I'm saying, in the dorm room, and it don't really be nothing for real. Like, I think that's really what kind of made me come back to prison for real. Because for one thing, like, I didn't really do that much time. Like, the first time I went, well, I did like 3 the first time, but it was sweet. You know what I'm saying? I went to work release, had a job, like, it was sweet. So it really wasn't no, you know what I'm saying? I came home like, I might can stay, take a chance, you know what I'm saying, do one more trip. So I don't know. I think for some people it might be, but for some people it might not be. You know, because of how cushy it is for real.
That's an interesting take. I watched in the movie that, not the movie, the documentary, that the prison inmates actually wanted the Norway model. So, but I'm curious, Ms. Donaldson, do you think the Norway prison system will work in the U.S.? Why or why not?
I kind of had the same feeling as him because even me, when I went to prison and I saw, because you always had this preconceived idea about what prison is. And when I went and I saw it, I just was like, it's cake. Like, I'm chilling. You know what I mean? Like that's how it was. I'm watching Undisputed every morning. I'm on the email. I'm doing video visits. I'm working out. I'm eating. I'm super chilling. And so I just feel like it has to be a certain level of consequences for it has to be a deterrent. You know what I mean? Like the gentleman being at a USP, like that's a whole different type of environment. 5-minute moves, 23-1 lockdowns, like that's prison, and coming from where that's why the recidivism rate is so high, because the more that they make it appealing to people, the more people like, I might try something. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And when I looked at the documentary, I thought the same thing, like apartments, like they not at college, and it's making it to where people don't want to leave, because outside of them walls, you got responsibility, you got life, you got kids, you got bills, you got all this stuff outside of them walls. But if you can live in this confined environment and not have to worry about nothing, what are we talking about?
Wow. Go ahead.
I had to say too, like the one thing that's wrong with the American prison system is you got a lot of people who they in prison, but they really supposed to be like in the middle spot. You see what I'm saying? Because they mind messed up. So you just be really giving them, they can't function. Some people just can't function in society. You see what I'm saying?
Without
like they
structure.
have to have, yeah, right.
Yeah,
they have to have structure. So they'll really be turned into like a hotel if they did that. You see what I'm saying? Just like you said, some people be comfortable and they won't want to go nowhere. They don't got no responsibility because, a lot of time, I meet a lot of dudes that they don't got nothing going out here anyway. Like, you don't got no family. Your family don't fool with you. You really don't got no way. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I used to meet dudes that were really hesitant, like they really, I don't think they didn't really want to leave prison for real.
Yeah.
So. Man, y'all laying some deep stuff. Y'all leading with some gems today. Now, Anthony, you allude to this, man. So, but I'm gonna see Miss Donaldson. I think I started with you first, so I'm gonna Miss Donaldson the next question. Anthony talked about this. Mental health is a big issue within the Black community the past 5 to 7 years, or maybe 10. We've been talking about mental health. Does the U.S. prison system focus on mental health and counseling while you are locked up? Does it help?
No. I'm a fan. You ain't got to finish it, but no.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, prison is a business, right? So I've actually heard referred to prisoners like as their paycheck, because the more recidivism you have, people that reoffend, like you go to prison, get out, you get up again, you come back. 9 times out of 10, I don't know how it works in state prison. 9 times out of 10, unless you committed like some egregious, the second time, you'll go to the same prison that you were at. Because there was girls at my prison that had been there years before and they got in trouble again and they just send them right back to the same prison. So most of these guards are working at these prisons 30 years. So they've seen these people come back 2, 3 times. So you have to think about it. If prisons are a business and they make money by the amount of beds that they fill, it's not in their best interest as a business to help people need help. They don't want insane, mentally able people back into the world. They want us broken, dependent, mentally challenged people, because those are the people that are going to reoffend, and they'll be back. And that's why they refer to them as a paycheck. The gentleman alluded to being locked up during COVID. I was locked up at the beginning of COVID. I probably was in for about 4 months, the first 4 months that COVID started. And, we were at a camp. We couldn't, we had to stay in our dorm. We couldn't go out. We couldn't, talk to our kids often as we wanted or needed to. So all we had, we would get an hour out of our cubes to go watch TV and things like that. And it's like, you're looking at the news, you're looking at CNN, and they're saying 50, 60,000 people are dying and people are killing each other over toilet paper and things, like all the narratives that we were being fed in there. And by you not being able to, be in contact with your family, it's kind of like that's all you really have to go on. And a lot of those girls, they weren't equipped to deal with that. They're on all these types of antidepressants and behavioral drugs and things like that. And then it's like they don't have an outlet. They don't have an opportunity to go outside and get some fresh air and exercise and things that provided them with a little comfort. All of that was taken away. So if you're a person that has that's mentally unstable to begin with, that ain't where you're gonna get assistance. It's not in their interest. It's not in their best view. They're there to house you while you serve time, get free labor from you, because that's all they're doing. And then they get money for you. So they winning all the way around board. So to answer your question, no, they don't want to help. They're not trying to help. They don't care. They don't care.
Well, there you have it, folks. I don't even know I want to even go to Anthony. Do you want to add to that, or has she done a good job?
Yeah, she definitely hit it on the head. Like, they don't cut nothing about you. Then, for real, like, you about really kind of don't really want to take no medicine in federal prison, because they're going to kind of experiment on you a little bit too. Like, so I've seen that. Like, dudes be on medicine and they change their medications up. And it's just like, nah, like they don't really.
That pill line is serious.
Right, it's serious.
That pill line is serious.
It's serious, for real. It's serious.
It's serious, yeah.
It's very serious. Like they don't, you can go to psychology, but it's like it's so kind of messed up in there. Like it might be a little while before you get up there, or you got so many people that's at the end of the day you in prison, so you around a whole bunch of dudes who be trying to see women. So you got dudes who try to slide over to psychology. Just so, what I'm saying, they can go with their move.
Female.
Yeah, what I'm saying? So it's a lot of that going on. Like they don't really take you serious for real in prison like that. They don't. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't.
Speaking of women, this question is not on the list. Because this is how I feel. Well, let me just ask you, Anthony. Why do they don't allow y'all to have conjugal visits?
I don't know. My time would have been a whole lot, it's been cool, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
I think I have an idea, but I was just wanting to hear it from your perspective. But why, Ms. Donaldson, this is off the cuff, why do you think they're not going to allow you, a man, to come in there and visit you, whatever, because you are human and you have needs.
Yeah. I just think they feel like that's a reward. Like they're not in the business of making your time easy. They not. So, they don't want you, going to visitation and coming back happy, and they don't want that. They want you in a state of where you always understand that you are in prison. Nothing is fun, nothing is easy, nothing is normal, nothing is like how it was when you were in the free world. This is not the free world. I used to say that all the time, like, you know what? If they put vibrators on a commissary, they'd be rich. Like, they would be rich. You know what I mean? But they don't. It's
wow.
Yes, but they not there. They not there. Your comfort. You are there to suffer. You are there to suffer.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. So we don't. Okay. This is fun. This is interesting. This interview is good. This is real good.
The whole setup, man. The whole setup, like even down to the colors of paint that they use. You see what I'm saying? Like they use the paint. They paint the prisons certain type of colors because it stimulates your mind to know what
it's all psychological.
Psychological, yeah. To stimulate your and let you know what type of mindset you're supposed to be in. You see what I'm saying?
Man.
Yeah.
Anthony, a good number of inmates have died in prison in the past month or so. Why do you think this is happening? How many and how are the inmates treated health-wise there? I think I showed you the video clip of how there's a prison in Mississippi, right?
Yeah, I was down the street from that when I was in Mississippi. I was in Yazoo City, Parchment, right down the street.
And I saw that video. Those conditions was horrible. Yeah. So why do you think there's so many inmates dying, and how they treated health-wise?
Well, for one, like I said, I was down there. In Mississippi. I was in Mississippi for about 2.5 years. Like I said, right down the street from Parchment. So I'm seeing Mississippi news every day. Then a majority of the dudes that was there was from Mississippi. So they had tell me about like Mississippi State Prison. Like for one thing, like I said, the mental health, the mental mindset of these folk. You know what I'm saying? I use Parchment for example. Like, man, you see how them dudes living in there like savages. So when you living like a savage, how you gonna do? You gonna conduct yourself like a savage for real. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of gang banging or whatever. So folks killing about that. And then for real, like I personally think, because you asked me why I cut my dreads, you know what I'm saying? Like I was just really kind of going through it. Like on the pan, we was locked down for like a whole year. Pretty much, you know what I'm saying? Like you might get out for an hour, like I said, it started off with like 30 minutes or however, but I ain't trying to get off the subject, but I feel like for one thing, like I said, that the healthcare is poor. Like for real, like you really pretty much sometimes you gotta really just fall out. You could be complaining to these people saying you feel like this, I think this going on with me. But by the time they really take you serious, it's gonna be when they be coming to get you off the stretcher because you don't fell out. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my cellmate where I just left from was a Mexican, he got cancer. So he's been going through the ringer. He was having a hard time trying to get these people to treat him, you know what I'm saying? Even though he had his medical records, this, that, and the third, it was like they really didn't want to do nothing with him for real.
Damn.
So now I feel like it's some place like they have care levels. They have care levels in the feds. You know what I'm saying? Like you might go to a spot that's like care level 1, but if you got a medical issue, you really need to get somewhere where you're supposed to be at. Like if you got a medical issue and you're not on no medical yard, like, yeah, it's not gonna go good for you for real. Like you're gonna have some issues or whatever, you know.
Damn.
And I think basically like, yeah, a lot of folks dying because like I said, you got a lot of violence going on because people mental mind states is messed up from this whole COVID situation. And then, you know, you just don't really have good health care in most of the prison system for real.
Ms. Donaldson, anything you want to add?
Well, with me, I was there for such a short period of time. So I made sure, like, I went to the dentist, I went to the doctor, I did all these things before I went in because I just was not letting them people touch me on no type of time. So anytime they sent something around like, hey, you want to get a vaccination for measles or whatever they had going on around that, nope, I'm declining everything. And to piggyback off of what the gentleman said, I'm declining everything. Don't touch me. I don't need my teeth clean. I don't want nothing from y'all. And what was so crazy, and this is just why I'm like, these people are crazy. One of the doctors that worked there was he had to be on house arrest because he had an ankle monitor on his leg. And he was the doctor at the prison. Damn. And I'm just like, what part of the game is this? I'm like, what part of the game is this? And it was like my ex bunkie, just like he said, she had cancer. Before she even got help, before they would take her out to get outside treatment, like she came back by the time they discovered she's stage 4. And I'm just like, damn, you've been locked up 10 years. Like nobody saw this, nobody, so it's like, then they want to be like, oh, we'll release her on immediate release because she has a terminal illness. So y'all done sat up here, let this lady cancer get to stage 4, and then y'all gonna send her out to the free world like, oh, okay, you could go home now. We good. We don't even want that on us. Like, it's crazy. I had a few bunkies like that. Like one of my bunkies, she had a stroke while she was in there. She done had to get hip replaced. I'm like, damn, like it's sad. It's sad because it's like, even when you go home, you're going to have so much stuff wrong with you. My uncle, he just came, he did 20 years. While he was in there, he had to get one of his toes amputated. Then as soon as he got home, he had to get one of his legs amputated. Now he done had to get the other leg amputated. It's like, what the hell was y'all doing for 20 years? So it is, like I said, that place is not, they not trying to help you. Like my boy said, you gonna get some when you fall out. You gotta fall out, be damn dead for them to do anything. Like they don't care. Like that's the message that I want. They don't care about nothing. They just don't want you to die on their compound. That's it.
That's damn. That shit's crazy, man. That shit's crazy. I'm a true believer. If you do the crime, you do the time. But at the same time, you shouldn't belittle or treat somebody inhumane all because they're in a system. That's crazy, man. Now I'm gonna stay with you, Miss Donaldson. Is it because we always hear the horror stories about men being in prison? Mm-hmm. How's prison like for a Black woman? Because the numbers for a Black woman going to prison has increased. Was women trying to get your cookies or and I'm not talking about Oreos and Chips Ahoy. Did you have to act tougher than who you are for that short period of time? How was it like for a Black woman?
Really, like, shockingly, when I went, there's a lot of white women that are locked up in federal prison. A lot. The numbers is more than Black women, at least where I was at. And it's because of opioid, whatever they want to call it, that's going on now. Because that's what all of them was locked up for, meth and opioids and all that type of stuff. So for me, like, I was just very adamant about how I wanted to spend my time. I didn't want to get caught up in drama, because it's females. So when you got a whole bunch of females, it's going to be petty, be catty, it's going to be messy, it's going to be, I didn't with nobody. Like, I could do my own thing. I got my own money. I could do my own bid. I don't need to go in with you. I don't need to share stuff with you. I don't need to barter with you. Like, I'm going to have everything I need. So that kept me out of a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Because girl, you loan a girl something and she don't give it back, or you give her something and she says she'll pay you back when she go back to commissary and then she don't pay you and then all. So it's all that type of stuff. So just by me being able to have my own things, that eliminated a lot of stuff. like they have the girls there, like girls, and a lot of those girls are just gay for the state. You know what I mean? Like they there, they lonely, they just, just bored, don't really have no plans, don't really have no goals or nothing that they want to accomplish. So they get caught up in that. And I just made it very clear, like, look, I'm not gay, I'm not knocking you if you are, but don't talk to me. I'm not gonna talk to you. We could be friends, could be cool, but as soon as you cross that line, like I'm gonna straighten you in real time. Like I'm not letting nothing slide, and it wasn't that I had to be someone who I wasn't, because that's who I am. Like even in the real world, like I work in a male dominated industry. I work in the entertainment industry. So I work in a male dominated industry where I always had to kind of stand up for myself, just kind of handle business in a very firm but fair way. So I just that's the only way that I know. You know what I mean? So I was very firm in my beliefs. I was very firm in my stance. If there were situations where I did find myself where it could turn into conflict, I'm a very resolution based person. So it's like, okay, before we get into some gangster shit, like let's try to handle this like respectable adults. You know what I mean? So I always, kept that in the forefront. And at the end of the day, I was on short time. So I'm not in here trying to get no shots. I ain't in here trying to get no days taken away. Like if you watch my interview, I said it repeatedly. Hey, if you want to be the big dog in prison, knock yourself out. You know what I mean? I'm a big dog in real life. So I don't have to come in here and try to put on and act like I'm something that I'm not. I'm here to do my time, stay out these people's way, and get back home. That's what I was on for the whole 20 months. And that's how I conducted myself, and I did it.
And you didn't have to turn into Megatron when you was in there?
You know what I'm saying? It's like she said, like she definitely know how to do time. Like she summed it up. Like that's how it was. Like people used to tell me, like, dude, one thing about you, like you got boundaries, like, and you ain't gonna step over, and you ain't gonna let nobody step over on your side. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like I do my own thing. I don't need no help doing my time. Like you said, I got my own stuff. Like I really prefer to do my own thing, period. So it's like, nah, all I really had to do was what I did all my life, just be me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't like what I got going on, you get over there. You feel what I'm saying? Cause that's where I'd rather you be at anyway. You feel what I'm saying?
Anyway, I would rather for you to be over there.
Over there, yeah. Because like me, like you said, I already know me. I know how I am, period. I know how I'm gonna react to the situation, period. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, folks gave me 120 months. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, that's a long time. You got to go on and kind of walk it down. Like I had to have a plan. I had to move, and I just had to stick to that. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I didn't really have to. But that's fun. Like she hit on it, how you say that all the time. Like you get people in there who, like they hung up on want to be somebody and another. Like I said, like I'm somebody in real life. Anyway, I believe everybody is somebody, but I didn't come here to prove no point. I came here because these folks gave me this time, so I got to do this time, and I'm trying to get on home. Like I am not trying to stick out. I'm just trying to, move through the cracks and get on up out of there.
Oh, well, I feel you. Anthony, what was your biggest fear while you was in prison?
Man, losing my folks, like, my mama, my dad, and my kids, or something like that. I said I wasn't really. I'm so good.
So you wasn't really. You didn't fear what? You didn't fear anything while you was in prison. You were fearing stuff that was outside of prison. That's what you saying.
Right. Cause like me, I ain't gonna get myself into nothing. Like I said, I was in UFP, man. I seen dudes getting stabbed left and right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they used to be like, "Oh, bro, you ain't got your knife, you got a knife. What I need a knife for?" Like, I'm not about to get myself into nothing, but it's a different type of situation because it's not you. It's just other people that you got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like your homies, your car. You know what I'm saying? Your car get into a situation, then you in a situation for real. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like how it's set up for real. Like I'm from Alabama, so I'm on Alabama time. So if somebody from DC get into it with one of my homeboys from Alabama, and they want to, you know what I'm saying, they want to strike it up. It doesn't matter who it is. They're going to hit one of us as long as you're from Alabama. So it's kind of like, but
you
I
got to
still,
stay witness.
right. Like you got to stay focused. But I wasn't, like I said, a lot of my concerns was on the outside. Like I wasn't really, you know, worried about nothing in there for real, because I know how to move. I stay out of trouble. So yeah, it was more like on the outside for me.
Ms. Donaldson, what was your biggest fear while you was in prison for that short period of time?
The same. Losing people on the outside. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't worried about the inside. You know, it was more so like things happening, you know, I'm getting old. I mean, my parents are getting older. I mean, my grandparents are getting older, you know, and it was just like, damn, what if something happened to somebody super close to me? And not only can you not be there to pay your respects, but now you gotta mourn in an environment that's not conducive to empathy. You know what I mean? You can't just go in a corner and cry or, you know, whatever. It's not set up that way. You know, so that was my biggest thing. Like, let me just get out of here with everybody I started with. If I can leave out of this place and have everybody in my life that I love still around when I get out, it'll be I chalk that up as a success. So that was my only concern.
Now you talk about that, and you brought up something, because I had a family member, a cousin that I think he did 20 years. I'm not going to say what he did, but he did a long time in Georgia. And my aunt died. And they said they had to move hell and heaven to get him to the funeral. And I haven't seen my cousin in years. I hadn't seen when I was like a little kid. And to see him in chains and in those clothes just to pay respects for his mother, I was like, man, this is awful. And I wouldn't wish that on nobody. When the one they loved ones is gone, they gotta go to the go all the way to the president just for them to just say goodbye to their loved ones. So that was an eye-opening experience. I think that happened around 2008, be exact. So I bring that up because you brought up something about death and not missing out and stuff. I'm really shocked that y'all not hip to the Walden philosophy of the Norway prison, because I think a lot of inmates will like that in the United States. But to end this interview, because y'all already touched on COVID and stuff. No, not. This is off the script. I saw the food. The food is horrible in prison. Food is horrible. So only time I saw in the interview, the guy got bananas from the commissary. So the only time you get good food is when you go to the commissary. Can you explain that to me, Anthony, about the commissary? That's the only time you get good food? Because that what it looked like.
Yeah, pretty much. You get to the commissary, or you buy you some plates from the OM. That's the officer child house. Like, you got folks who work in there, and you get on a contract with them and get them to bring you some plates. You know what I'm saying? Or for real, you know, like I ain't gonna lie, like we used to, you know, you got to be very intuitive in prison, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we used to fry burritos in the trash can, all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we used to make it happen. And they had microwaves at first. Like, I didn't really realize what all you could really cook in a microwave. So I mean, yeah, like for real, like I ain't go to the chow house for real unless it was like chicken day. Yeah, they cook like a chicken patty on Tuesday. Like, yeah, like, nah, the food's kind of bad, man. I can't really say. I might have been one place where they fed you kind of straight. You know what I'm saying? Then, of course, you know, holidays, they're going to give you, I guess they feel like, you know, give them some fried chicken or something. Fried chicken, you know, you get a steak. You might get steak for New Year's or something like that. But yeah, I pretty much eat out my box for real. I ain't gonna even lie.
What was the first thing you ate when you got out?
What did I eat?
What did?
Some fried chicken, I believe, some chicken wings. I want some. I want some lemon pepper wings, man. I ain't gonna lie, but hey, when the first couple weeks, oh man, I was eating stuff anything I could think of. I would eat oxtails, crawfish, king crab legs. You know, we ordering this stuff on the weekend at the halfway house. Like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, we get it in, man.
So,
I'm still get it in right now.
Hey, Sakeya, what about you, man? Was the food good, or you had to go to the commissary to get your food?
Like I ain't gonna front. Our food was on a scale of 1 to 10. We was at about an 8. You know,
What?
like listen, like I was at a camp. It's different. Super Bowl. You know, they giving us chicken wings. They giving us like mozzarella sticks and pizza. You know, we had our chicken day on holidays like 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. We getting steak. We getting grilled hot dogs, baked potatoes, you know, ice cream. And then, you know, and then the stuff that we could cook in the microwave, man, listen, I'm talking about full course meals. And then like with me, I was trying to eat, you know, halfway healthy is to the best of my ability. So I spent a lot of money buying people steal stuff out the kitchen that work in the kitchen, or they might work in the guards cafeteria, and you know, they getting stuff like I might pay $20 for a head of cabbage, or you know, $10 for a thing of broccoli, or they might bring chicken breast or something, you know, whatever I could try to get my hands on. But like him, for the most part, I didn't go down to CDR. You know, we had commissary, you know, we had somebody in the dorm that cooked really well. Like, people don't believe it, but like I had bills when I was in prison. Because I had everybody that did something for me. Like I had the person that cooked. I had the person to do my hair. I had the person to do my eyebrows. I had the person that give me massages. The person to give me pedicures. I had like different people. Like if they not making no money, or if they don't have a family, you helping them and support them, they got to figure out a way to hustle, you know? And that's how they got their commissary. It's like every week I have $4 worth of bills on my locker. And I'm like, damn, this shit getting expensive. Like, I'm spending money like I'm in the free world. But I had to do what I had to do to get as comfortable as possible. And I just was I was one of the lucky ones that had like a lot of family support. I'm not even gonna say I had family support financially, because I don't really recall my family sending me no money. They really couldn't understand why I didn't need money. I don't know any of my friends sending me money. They'll be like, you need money? I'm like, nah, I'm good. Because I already set my up. Like, okay, I'm probably they told me you could spend a commissary every month. So I'm like, okay, I'm probably spending about $500-$600 in here a month. So I just multiplied $600 times 20, and I just set that amount of money to the side. So I had to call people and ask and put pressure on people, and you know, I didn't go through that. And that's something that I did, because it was like, if everybody that I know fall off the face of the earth, I still want to be able to do my business calmly and smoothly as possible. You know, I even had a book budget put to the side, because I wasn't reading the same type of books that those chicks was reading. They was reading hood books. Like, I don't want to read Snatched Up by a Thug Volume 1 through 6. I don't want to read it. You know what I'm saying? I was reading Grant Cardone books and Donald Trump book. You know what I mean? So when I wanted to read a new, I just called my home, ordered this book off Amazon, send it to me. And then, you know, they got a list for the books. I don't want to wait for 23 other chicks to read a book. Like, I want my stuff. So I made provisions for myself, you know, to the best ability that, you know, I was able to do my time pretty chill.
Interesting. I know y'all busy, so I'm going to end it like this. Do you think U.S. needs prison reform? And if so, what does it look like? Anthony, what does a prison reform look like to you?
Most definitely stop sending people to prison for every single little petty thing, because everything's not necessarily that you need to go to prison, man. You see what I'm saying? Like, because you have some people that legitimately have issues. They have substance abuse issues. You see what I'm saying? So you need to be trying to treat them with that. You got people who have mental issues. You know what I'm saying? They need to go to the mental place. Now you got some people some people crimes do fit them being in prison. You see what I'm saying? Like, but it's just, yeah, they need to really take a look at what they doing, man, at the end of the day, because it's like, it's not working. You know what I'm saying? It's not working. The system is definitely broken.
Ms. Donaldson, you last but not least, do you think the U.S. need prison reform, and what does it look like for you?
I most definitely think they do. I think that first and foremost, before you even get to prison reform, they need to take some of these laws off the books. Like, I think conspiracy worst law that's on books, because I mean, they don't even gotta do no work. You know what I mean? To get you on conspiracy. Everybody be found guilty of conspiracy in one way or another. You know what I mean? And it's so easy for them to pin that on you, and they don't have to prove nothing. You know what I mean? And I just think it's a start, because if you look at every federal case, Marcus, I want you to do this. Tell me the percentage of inmates that have a conspiracy charge in conjunction with another charge. That was my charge, conspiracy. They charged me with 1 count of conspiracy and one phone count, because I made a phone call between two dudes. And it's like, y'all don't put an F on my name. You know what I'm saying? I'm a convicted felon. I had to sit down for 2 years, because at the end of the day, it's like, y'all want me to do y'all, you know? So, and like Anthony said, it's not working. It's not working because you don't see a decrease in, it's like people ain't even scared to go to jail. They like, man, shit, that's a vacation for them. And don't let them turn it into Norway and have a whole dormitory situation up here. Man, niggas go to jail left and right. So it's not working. If you don't see a decrease in the number, if you don't see a decrease in the recidivism rate, if you don't see a decrease in crimes being committed, then obviously it's not working. You know, and if you look at countries in the way that they prison and the way that they, you know, do things, I can't speak for, I know Anthony mentioned at his prison, they had unicorn. My prison, they ain't have nothing. They had like crochet and drawing, and like they're doing absolutely nothing to help these women get back out into society, integrate back into society, and help them get their life on track. A man could go to prison, come back out with CDL, come out with skills in welding, come out with skills in landscaping and go start a business. And now they running a 6-7 figure business. Like, what type of business am I gonna open? And I've been sitting in prison for 3 and all I know how to do is crochet. Like, that's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I just said, lucky for me, I had a plan. I had a support system, and I had a real life outside of prison. So all I was there to do was time. I'm only here because these people told me I got to be here. You know, and they let me out. I'm going back to my real life. As you know, people always say, like, dang, Sakeya, how is it so easy for you to just hop back out and, you know, do all this stuff? And, you know, I'm like, because that's what I was doing before. That's who I am. This is just a speed bump. You know what I mean? Like, it was a little break. It just really gave me the opportunity to set up the second half of my life. That's what I look at it as. Because like I said in my view, there's no other time as an adult you're going to have an extended period of time where 100% of the focus can be on you, where you don't have to worry about paying bills, taking care of kids, going to work. You don't have to worry about that. If you could just spend 100% of your time, effort, and resources into making you a better person, then use that time for that. And like I told Esther in the interview, because I went to prison when I was 39, turned 40 while I was there, and I got out, I was 40. So if I live to be 85 years old and I look back on the totality of my life, if I was able to set my life up from the time I was 40 to 85, because I had to sit 20 months, I'm going to take that trade every day. I'm going to take that every day, because what I'm doing now, the opportunities that are presenting themselves to me, is because I took the time to really sit down and put a plan together, and now I'm just executing.
All right. I'd like to thank Anthony and Sakeya for coming on the show. Before I end the show, I'd like to give my last point on it. I believe that the U.S. prison system is broken. I believe that, like Sakeya and Anthony, it's a business. The more Negroes and more Hispanics and more minorities they can put in there, the better. It's a system where white people don't have to go to college to make money. I could be a correctional officer and treat black people or other people the wrong way and get a check for it. It's a win-win situation. But a lot of people are in there for petty stuff, and they don't need to be in there. We need to develop a rehabilitation system to help people once they get out to become better citizens in society. I believe that selling weed or whatever or something to that nature does not deserve no big time bid. Or you can teach that person how to be an IT person. But like I said earlier, I truly believe that you do the crime, you do the time. But some of these things that we're being put in prison are petty. And I also believe in a part of reform is that if you've been wrongly accused and put in prison for 30 years, I believe you should get $30 million tax free. How many African-American men and women have been let out of prison that were wrongly convicted based on conspiracy? They just wanted the body to fill their cell so they can make money. So this being said, the system is broke. The way they hire police officers broke. And the only way we have to change this, we got to come together and make demands and ensure that the people that are in there are still being treated as human beings and not animals. This is Marcus with Rebuke. I'd like to thank Sakeya and Anthony for coming on the show. And before I leave, you already know my saying: there's knowledge is power, economic freedom is salvation. But you put the two together, we can build a great nation. Marcus with Rebuke, and talk to you soon. Peace.